Hello, everyone. I have returned. Scary thought as it is, I have returned. I've been gone for a while, and there's been a lot of crazy things going on, and I just needed to step back for a bit. But I have returned, and I am still on my debt-free journey. Although it stalled for a bit, I'm willing to admit that. I'm not going to come on here and say, oh, I'm doing so well, I'm doing so well. No. With everything that was going on, it in my life, it was just I'm still conscious and I still try and be careful what I spend, which brings me to something exciting. My bank, where I bank, TD Canada Trust, has an app that I came across purely by accident. I do online banking. I do everything online, check my balances, and I could see what I've spent for the month. But this app actually tracks your spending and puts it into categories. So every time I go to the grocery store, I would get a pop-up showing how much I just spent at the grocery store, and I could see, okay, how much I spent so far this month on groceries. For example, anytime I buy gas, that goes under transportation. Anytime I buy anything health related, like I just had to get my son a sleep apnea machine. Unfortunately, he stops breathing 5 times in an hour while he's sleeping, which is not a good thing. Just trying to get him to get comfortable and using it every night. Now that's another story altogether. But it shows that I spent $315 on health. So it's really tracking everything. And it's really starting to get me thinking more of what I've been spending. And I could see it by category. And it actually starts to track how much you typically spend, how much you're currently spending, and then it tells you if you're on track to save money this month or if you're overspending. So it gives you something to think about. And it does it in a way that you just, every time you use your debit card, every time you take cash out, it recognizes that. Which I think that's the only problem, is if I was just to use cash, then I'd have to write everything down. So I'm still, although they have the envelope system, and they suggest you just take that out and you only spend that much a month on groceries and have the cash on hand. I still like the debit card for this particular reason. Is it helps me to have a better control, and it's easier for me. Before I would just pull out my statement online and just go through it for the month and see, okay, ooh, I spent too much on eating out this month. And I could see it. But this makes it one step further, and now it tracks it by category, and that really is helping me. So right now, I think I'm going to stick with this for the time being because it's really helping me to see and track my spending and see where everything's going much easier. So that's one little change. I'm still planning on my debt-free journey. I'm just going to reevaluate how I do it and reprioritize my no, that can't be right. Reprioritize my priorities? No, that doesn't make sense. But I think you know what I mean. Just go through and figure out my goals, reevaluate my goals. That sounds better. Reevaluate my goals and put a better plan in action. And with this app, I think I can really do it. The other thing that's been going on with me is I've been really starting to read up on and hear more about, and I'm sure you all hear this in the news, and I think it should be for those of you in the States, this should be a bigger election topic than it has been, is these genetically modified foods, GMOs. I've been really starting to learn about it and read stuff on it. And what really got me started was that actually a 14-year-old girl, her name is Rachel Parent, and she's from Toronto, so she's from my area. at the time when I first saw her on the Kevin O'Leary show, or I think it was O'Leary and I can't remember the other lady's name off the top of my head right now. It's just Sullivan. I think it was O'Leary and Sullivan Report or some show, Canadian show, where she went on and challenged him because he's all for GMOs, and she's asking for is the food to be labeled so that us as consumers have a choice. And that's when I first started thinking about it, when I saw her video. And she's only at the time when she did that, I think she was 14 years old. And it really got me thinking. But of course, life gets in the way and you just start getting, doing other things, and things fall to the wayside, and you think, yeah, GMOs is nice, but that's just too much to worry about. But then it kept popping up, especially on my Facebook feeds. And then I started liking some of the Facebook pages and learning more about it. And now it's really starting to stick with me. But the problem I'm finding is I wanted to be debt free sooner rather than later. But I also want to try and eat food that's not genetically modified, that's not packaged, so I can also become as close to zero waste as possible, which is my other passion. So I have 3 passions, which is getting out of debt, eating foods that are not genetically modified, and trying to be as zero waste as possible. Now, if someone has a magic formula where all these 3 could be married together, I would welcome it. So just put any comments that you have below, because I look in the supermarket for these non-GMO foods, and then I found a few that were labeled, but then I look at the size of the packaging, look what's in it compared to its counterparts, and you get less, but it costs more than what you would pay. So I've actually found comparable Rice Krispie cereal that's non-GMO. I believe the brand is Nature's Path, but obviously it costs more money than the regular Rice Krispies that most people have at home. And it got me thinking, why is that? Why is natural food that doesn't have chemicals in it, why should that have cost more? If Mother Nature intended for a banana to have chemicals, Mother Nature would have put chemicals in a banana. I don't care if my banana looks nicer because it's got injected with hormones, or my piece of corn, or whatever it is that they put the chemicals they modify. All I care about is, was this grown by Mother Nature? Or was it produced in some factory? Because I really don't care how nicer a piece of corn looks. If I had a choice between a non-GMO corn that didn't look as nice and bright and yellow as the GMO corn, but I knew that there was no pesticides, it was organic, it was the way Mother Nature intended it to be, I'd rather eat that than eat something like, oh, this looks fresher, nicer. No. And that's where the problem lies. If you want it fresher, you pay more. If you don't care about what's in it, then you can spend less, and in turn, your grocery bill will be smaller. But then what do you got in your cupboard? Chemically modified foods that if it's not good for the insects and it kills an insects, what makes you think it's not going to harm you in some way? It may not kill you because you're not a tiny little bug, but it can't be good for you. If it's not good for a mosquito or a wasp or a bee, then what makes you think it's good for yourself? So that's where my dilemma is right now, and where I'm heading towards is doing some research on better ways to feed my family, healthier, preferably non-GMO foods, have the zero waste, and be able to be on a journey my debt-free journey and not feel like one has to override the other and that I can't have both or all three in my case. I know it sounds like, oh, she's asking for so much. She's asking for the world to be perfect. No, I don't expect the world to be perfect. I don't even think God intended the world to be 100% perfect. All I would like is to just for people to be given choices on the foods they eat, the farmers to have a choice of how they grow their food and not feel they have to sell their farms to these corporations or join these corporations and have their crops genetically modified for them to stay afloat and to be able to provide for their own families. I want people out there not to be afraid of money. I want people out there to be able to use their money for the good, not to waste it on stuff, which, believe me, I've done enough of that throughout my life. And not to have a bunch of stuff in the house. And just value people more. Value Mother Nature more. Get out there. Go for a nice walk. See what's out there. Not worry about the next evicted house guest on Big Brother, which, okay, I'm guilty. I watch it 3 times a week. I know that's bad, and I check the tablet for any spoilers during the week, so I'm one of those addicted people, but I shouldn't be. I should be more concerned about what's out there than what's on a TV screen. But of course, that's my guilty pleasure. Although I did go out in the garden this weekend and started cleaning up. My boyfriend and I went and cleaned up the backyard a bit. And now I'm looking at the space that I have thinking I could make a bigger garden and grow some of my own food. And I just hope and pray I can find plants and seeds that are not genetically modified so I can actually plant something wholesome like carrots and tomatoes and onions and maybe even some potatoes, who knows. But I would really like to be able to plant some herbs, some vegetables in my garden that I know is safe from any pesticides and feed my family nutritious food. Spend more time with my family cooking around the kitchen table, or now the weather's nice, around the patio table, and just enjoying each other's company, playing a simple game of cards. It was so nice on the weekend. My son went to his dad's for the weekend, and my daughters were still here. So my boyfriend and I were playing cards, and it was just nice. We weren't playing on our tablets. We weren't checking our phones to see who's texting us or who posted something on Facebook. We just took out a deck of cards and played some cards and just had a good laugh, especially since I lost both times. So that wasn't my night for cards. In any case, I want people to start enjoying the simple things in life. Because I find that way back when things were simple, I enjoyed myself better, I think, in those simple times. Now everything's all this technology based and everything has to be better, bigger and better and looking nicer before anyone would buy it. I just wish we could go back to simpler time, spend time with family, appreciate who we have, who we are, and not worry about making the next big product, the next big thing, and just be happy and be content with what we have and who we are. I will see you soon. I'm going to be trying to do 3 videos a week, and you'll get a mixture of topics on how I'm doing in my debt-free journey, how I'm doing my GMO journey / waste journey, and hopefully be able to give some inspiration, some tips, and show you what not to do, because I'm sure I'll make plenty of mistakes. So I'll be the perfect example of Don't do what she did. But then, I hope I can give you some examples where you say, do what she did. So let's hopefully there's more do what she did than don't do what she did. That means I'm doing something right. Take care, everyone, and we'll talk soon.